I think they'll continue doing this.
I think they may.
And they're going to switch Reggie over to mid and Dyrus up to top.
It'll have to be...
Try and keep people on their toes, you know?
That LCS mind games, they are deep. Inception. Karthus and Thresh off. Nobody wants to see that from Reginald or Dyrus in the top. So Lee Sin will be off the map as well. Crumbs has played Nocturne a few times in the TSM matchup, but he really can be versatile in the jungle anyways. He's not really one to be focused.
Yeah, Crumbs has a pretty deep champion pool as well. He's got plenty of other options to go with.
Awesome.
The Dignitas ban for Yi comes out. Makes everybody a little bit sad, but what makes me really sad was that first Thresh ban, because I love watching Specials Thresh. He hasn't had a mistimed play in over a month probably. He's just been landing every single one, interrupting all kinds of abilities.
He played Lulu in the lot at the beginning of the split, and then after that kind of all-star thing, he was like, this is good, and I know how to play really good. So he's been locking that down. Oh, Kiwi Kid loves his Fisherman Fizz, but I don't know. That may be one of the things that they've let him play it, but might fall into that category of not this time.
One time. I remember seeing it that one time back in Spring Split. It was not a pretty game, and I believe that Dignitas were scarred after that.
Scarred?
They were scarred after that. No more Fizz.
We'll see what they choose. Elise is out, the odd one, actually having to ban that one away. He used this again in the previous 2 games that they faced off against Dignitas. They let that get through.
So odd one loves Elise, but most top junglers love Elise. So banning that one out against Crumbs is because she's so strong right now. Her kit has so much percentage damage, both maximum or both missing health and an execute, and for her spider form. So she will do a lot of damage even with building full tank, and that's really the biggest strength that she has right now.
This is a really interesting pick. It not being a Thresh, the Sona leaves so many top-tier picks open, but also isn't itself an not ambiguous pick, but they're not showing your hand, right? You have crowd control.
Yeah,
you have Sona.
So that leaves up the support Janna, which we've seen Special perform extremely well on too. Mentioning All-Stars, he had an extremely good counter engage there, and the other queen of counter engage, Zyra, is also up. So there's still some top-tier supports available to him, and we will not be disappointed.
Oh, Reggie bought a new deck of cards, and he's getting itchy to try it out on this one. We'll see if he can pull out the right ones in his magic tricks. Odd one locking in Dyrus's Jace, so a safe and powerful lane to come from there. We've heard Dyrus say before, I can carry the game.
Yeah,
I'm Jace.
I'm on Jace.
I'm on Jace.
So Jace definitely safe and powerful champion. He loves that champion, very comfortable with him. But Reggie locking TF, every TSM fan just kind of got a little bit farther up on their chair. They're a little worried now because Reggie will either have an amazing game on Twisted Fate with some ridiculous initiations and quick Zanyas that I've seen him dodge ridiculous amounts of spells with, or he'll have an off game there with the Twisted Fate, and the community will have a field day.
You can bet Dan's at home with the VHS ready and the record button on to make another compilation.
Oh yeah, Dan's made a whole video of Reggie's Twisted Fate.
But we see again Nocturne be locked in, and I guess you can attribute that obviously the global pick of Twisted Fate. Maybe that's why we see Crumbs picking up Nocturne against them so much and allowing the Twisted Fate in because of the past history.
Yeah, I've always said the biggest thing that separates good Nocturnes from great Nocturnes is using the ultimate defensively. If you can make that paranoia last, the vision denial for it last for a second or two of the team fight before using it for the gap closer, then it caused so much confusion for the enemy team. And we've seen it used extremely effectively against TSM specifically, because TSM have communication problems. All area teams know about that. CLG has been picking Nocturne all the time against them because we'll see Reggie dive in and the rest of the team back off because there's paranoia, because they can't see what's going on, and they have a hard time communicating. They can take advantage of that with a champion like Nocturne. So I always love that pick against TSM.
An interesting pick here. Interesting, but Wild Turtle does not choose to go for Draven as it's left open. It was used in this last confrontation between TSM and Dignitas. It's Cutie Pie and Patoy to choose out here. Diana was used by Skara back in the first time these guys met, but we haven't seen a lot of that. We also heard Hai saying, you know, the defect, the reasons why not is because it's too all in. The team really can't always follow up to that. So.
That was Shifter, buddy.
That was Shifter.
Trying to pull something on me.
Oh.
But
I'm shifting it.
Save that one. Good job. The Draven no pick, I definitely will attribute all of them. Yeah. These guys all known for Draven. They don't like the new passive, so that's why we're going with the very strong Caitlyn. The thing though that we need to talk about, this Aatrox pick. This is the first North American LCS Aatrox pick. Very excited to see this one. As a solo laner, I'm pretty confident that will be a solo laner because we already have Nocturne, and Crumbs is very confident in his Nocturne. A solo lane Aatrox is a very interesting champion because his passive is a Rebirth passive that's on a much lower cooldown than all the other Rebirth passives that we have in the game. So when he uses his abilities and he gets lower because they cost health, he actually, he's storing those for later so that when he does have something like a 2 vs 2 situation or a gank happens up, Aatrox will often come out ahead in those because of that fairly low down.
Would you put him on that scary to gank Rumble level in a 2v1 situation?
Not quite.
Okay.
Rumble's still up there for me. I've been scarred for life by ganking Rumbles in a bad situations there.
And a WoW aggressive Scarra here. I can't recall immediately if he ran teleport the first time. We did state that he was able to get going after laning phase, but maybe this is to compensate for laning phase if he gets real stuck there.
Yeah, he does. He did run teleport last time.
All right, so he's just
running that teleport is what got him going.
Yeah.
Because Kassadin, the laning phase is weak, and everybody knows it. That's the weakness to running this champion. But if he's able to teleport down like he did last game to bottom for the counter gank, what he does is he picked up 2 kills there before he was even level 6 because of the teleporting in when the rest of the opponents were low, and that was able to get him rolling on Kassadin and getting him snowballing.
So let's see what we got coming in here. Dignitas looking for pretty much a lot of everything. They have a very well-rounded team. They AP Kassadin in middle, and they didn't choose to go double AP, which they usually tend to go towards. They've gone for that Aatrox top, which we're seeing is the first Aatrox, like Kobe said, in the NALCS. No Thresh in this one. Xpecial decides to go for Lulu, so that lane won't be as crazy as aggressive. Maybe we'll see a little bit more presence there from Crumbs, because usually that lane is ungankable.
Yeah, and I think that the Aatrox actually has a lot to do with that Lulu pickup that you just brought up, because Lulu has the guaranteed disable, that polymorph, whereas Thresh, you would have to land that death sentence to be able to disable Aatrox. I always take tons of CC against Aatrox because if you leave him free to auto attack, he puts out a lot of damage. So having the guaranteed polymorph plus the slows from Glitterlance that they can use to kite him, I think it's a really good adaptation there in the last pick.
See what they decide to do. We are on the second matchup of the day. Dignitas versus Team SoloMid. Both of these teams kind of sitting near each other in the standings. We'll see who can break away on this. Patoy roaming by himself here. Feels like he's safe, and he will get a move on to get some wards down by Wraith. Runs himself up towards red. He will leave another one behind and probably continue down with his team towards mid here. Very deep wards.
Yeah, I'm waiting for one of these teams to be punished for sending their support solo into the red side jungle to put down these early wards, because every team has started out their invade on the red side. I would love to get the stat on how many in a row we've had both teams invading red side jungles first. And it's really just been a trade of information. Both teams usually end up getting their wards down, and they'll have vision of the beginning starts for these junglers. And that's why we haven't seen as many junglers getting those first bloods and getting those successful ganks off.
So what is it about the red side? Why not the blue side?
So the red buff is usually the buff that the jungler will gank after getting. So after getting that one, they're immediately going to look for somewhere to go usually. And if you have knowledge of them leaving there, then you'll have a perfect timer on it. Plus, if wherever the jungler starts out, unless you're going to go for an engage to contest the first buff, that one's usually just help and give it to him smiteless.
All right, here we go. The red buff start for both. No, actually see the blue on one. Red for here coming in for Crumbs. We may see a fast one from him if he may go to blue and be seen. We do have the 2v2 in the top lane as both teams have swapped it around. So we're going to see how this fares. Sustain on the lane for Dignitas.
And since we've had both junglers starting on the bottom side of the map, Nocturne starting red and NASA starting blue, it could culminate in a 3 vs 3 situation up in that top lane. Because, like I said, after their second buffs, a lot of junglers go for the ganks. The one that wouldn't would probably be that Nasus. Odd One could just continue farming up the rest of the small camps that he has. And especially, that would be the better choice since both teams do have vision of the opponent's jungler. And it's just more beneficial for the jungler at this point to keep on farming small camps instead of going for those ganks.
Now, Kobe, as things are kind of slow right here, and we look at the bottom lane and kind of the mid lane simultaneously, the teleport on Kassadin, and you said, you know, that's to get to each lane, whatnot, do what he needs to do. Obviously, he teleports anywhere, but TF's in the bottom lane. Will that hurt them once he comes to 6?
When TF gets 6, yeah, they definitely wanted to match Skara up against the worst possible opponent.
Right,
so
the
a
AD,
Jace,
yeah.
A Jace starting with a Doran's Blade is a whole bunch of attack damage, and they were looking to catch Skara off guard, so hoping that Skara would rune for magic resistance for the Twisted Fate, because he's expecting a Twisted Fate matchup.
Right.
So if he takes all these magic resist runes, he'll be very vulnerable to this offensive start that Dyrus went, and he'll be taking a lot of harass early.
We'll see how this works. It does work in favor of Reginald to keep that distance. He has his gold cards to stay safe against the AD of Aatrox. But in the bottom lane, looks like both junglers kind of reading each other like a book here. Gonna get meet in the 2v2. Oh, Dyrus coming down on the backside. He just used his wings to Q down for Kiwi Kid, so he can't escape on this one unless he flashes. The hits go down. He will go for the passive there, and they're just going to congregate on. An attack comes from the gold card. They finalize with the kills, and the first blood goes to Reggie. 3 in the bottom lane.
Kiwi Kid chooses the wrong time to go aggressive there. Had the jungler in the wings, but since TSM went with the lane swap, they got the advantage from mid lane. Having Dyrus be that giant bully against a Kassadin who was expecting Twisted Fate allowed Dyrus to not only get harassed onto Skara, but also shove the lane, roam down for the 3 vs 2, and they took out the passive and they took out the first blood.
It was getting baited on the bait. I really liked it. Well played. Good movement by Dyrus there. Really good communication, so it seems, by TSM, unless everybody's just kind of working in silence right now. Sometimes it happens, and sometimes good things come from it. We got 5 minutes coming up on the clock. TSM able to grab first blood before that, but a very different game from a TSM turret pressure game because we're getting the matched up lanes again.
And the thing that I also have to shout out, just one more to tack onto that last duel down bottom, the reason that Skara didn't teleport down there was, again, the early harass that Dyrus had gotten off, and the fact that the initiation of the fight took Kiwi Kid so low that if Skara went down there, he would just be wasting time because they wouldn't have gotten anything back. And he was just trying to at least get some farm in the mid lane there.
Not too much discrepancies on any of the lanes. A good amount of pressure was given to Reginald there. He is up that kill, but they're still even in CS, so they've gotten their lane back. So they've also swapped back these lanes. They're going to put the AD carry support, Wild Turtle and Special, up against Kiwi Kid now in the bottom lane.
I love this by TSM. They're still keeping on the offensive here. They've made the switch. Now that they got the advantage they were looking for with the lane swap, now they want to put Twisted Fate back in the mid lane so that when he does hit that level 6, because he's a level 5 now, he's about to get 6, he'll be able to use his Destiny to go to either lane once again. And Reggie is not one to sit on that cooldown for very long, so he'll make use of that first Destiny to go gank again either lane now that he's back in mid. He has the options.
Gonna see what moves could be made by the junglers. Not quite 6 yet. Crumbs is sitting at about 75%, and we have about 10% here for the odd one. So if Crumbs can get that and get an ultimate in, they've put Kiwi Kid into the middle now. They've re-swapped the lanes, but Skara finds himself back against Dyrus, which you can see not working out for him so well.
Yeah, he's not happy with that one. He's going to be kept down, and his CS numbers are going to suffer even more from this point on. The only reason that he even has 30 is because of that roam and because he did get that farm in the mid lane that we were talking about. So now they're already calling for another swap here. Dignitas always on the back foot, trying to play catch up here, sending Kiwi Kid to the top.
And we've talked about this before. There's a point in which this rotation starts to hurt. If Skara's not the one trying to get back up in CS, he is the one backing. So not a lot of these things working in their favor. Patoy, they're looking for Cutie Pie on this one. They're walking right next to Patoy. The Wither goes down. Can they get the Glitter Lance onto Cutie Pie? Coming up from the side, Special hits it in the front. He may be able to get away off of this one. Oh, how unfortunate on the Q.
And Wild Turtle is not even 6, so there's no ultimate from that Caitlyn.
That is the sweetest port.
Fake out from Reggie.
Boom.
I told you, he doesn't sit on that cooldown for long, man. That thing will just burn a hole in his pocket. Once he's got Destiny, he's going to use Destiny. He was thinking about comboing into that bottom lane to finish off the Graves, but the communication from TSM came after he popped Destiny, and they told him, no, Cutie Pie still has his flash and his barrier. Don't come down. You're just going to waste your time.
Reggie over to get the blue buff transfer complete. These guys always switching up the lanes here. Resetting now, it is Aatrox and Jace battling it out in the top lane to equal them out. It's 36-63 in CS. So you can see that Dyrus, he hasn't really gone back to scale that damage or gold in his hand. He's still stacking his tier, but he can still just do damage with that accelerated Shock Blast.
Yeah, and since the tier does stack a lot slower now, it was great that he did get off to that very good early start because until he upgrades that one, it's going to take a lot longer here. I believe it's about 10 more minutes. I was talking elimination, and that was his estimate on the increased time.
Crumb's getting out there. He had his ultimate for quite some time before he tried to go on it. Scarra chasing up the odd one. That's why he really activated it. Keep that pressure on. The ultimate from the odd one goes off, putting another 300 plus HP on, and the safety.
So Crumb's trying to make something happen there. The first Paranoia, just like the first Destiny from Twisted Fate, taking advantage of that one. Now Patoy left a lot of harass.
Oh, Dyrus! Yeah, it was not a safe position to be in as the odd one backed out. We see the kill in the top lane, but Crumbs goes down as well in the situation. The ignite from Dyrus just going off, so that's how he took him out.
It was good focus by Dyrus to ignite Crumbs instead of Kiwi Kid. Because of the low cooldown on that Aatrox passive that I talked about, his revive was already back up. And Dyrus knew that even if he got that kill on the Kiwi Kid, it would just be the passive.
Special playing such an aggressive Lulu right now, not even running any AP or anything to really give himself that damage, but playing it like a Thresh. Reginald, the damage onto Scarra, the blue buff in favor of Reginald right now, and you can see how it's hurting Scarra that he does not have that yet.
And that was in part due to the aggression that Crumbs put on the early game there, trying to get that Paranoia and get the kill onto Odd One. It actually hurt them a lot because not only did he not come out of that exchange ahead, they traded 1 kill for 1 kill, but they also delayed that blue buff to Kassadin, which really is giving Scarra a hard time.
So priorities falling a little behind here, but it's not really costing them too much. They're able to get this back. That was a dragon, and it can be brought back into their favor. 2-1 now. The 4,000 gold lead isn't really spread onto just one person, so it's not a core item. They're not too worried to have these fights start. They can still put out the damage. We'll have to see as Reginald picks up that needlessly large rod. Looks like he will be going for the fast Sanyas instead of an early Lich Bane like we've seen.
You're right. The global gold that you're talking about adding to all of this is a great thing from TSM that we haven't always seen. They haven't always put the emphasis on turning kills into objectives, but they're doing a great job this game. Not only did they get the mid turret from when the 3 vs 2 tower dive was up top, Reggie took the initiative on that one and he just shoved middle, but they also comboed it with that dragon. So the 2 global objectives were off of just the 2 kills there from TSM. So they're not wasting time, and it's a great new adaptation from them.
And look what this lane swapping has done, Kobe. Both of the solo lanes of Reginald and Dyrus are up a near 30 CS.
Yep, it's because not only did Scarra go magic resist runes, but Kiwi Kid had gone armor runes. So whichever team makes the first switch is always the ones that are going to have the advantage, because they're the ones that are going to get the first hits on those minions before they leave the lane. And the team that's making the switch to compensate always loses a couple to the turret while they're walking from lane to lane.
Crumbs sensing that something may be going wrong in the top lane. Kiwi Kid looking, takes to the air. His Bloodwell passive is up, so Kiwi Kid will be back in the fight. He actually flashes away before using that passive. The teleport trying to come in. Scarra says no. He gets gold carded in middle. He just got locked down there instead of stopped it, and they're only able to come up with the 1.
So the passive for Aatrox actually not up right now. When they are gray, like the bars are gray like this, it means he has it fully stacked, but he can't actually use it.
Oh, Patoy could go down to the bottom lane. There's a dive in the top lane too. They're diving. He goes down. The bottom lane does not find the kill. Patoy gets out. Reginald in chase though. You can see the aggression is everywhere. Scarra, now after blowing the teleport, tries to make something happen. They know they need to work off of this. Right under the trap, but he does get the kill, and it is Crumbs getting out in the top lane.
So Reggie wanted to take advantage of the fact that that Bloodwell wasn't up, and he did go in and get the kill on the Kiwi Kid, but great job by Scarra, counter roaming. He switched his focus down to bottom, and now Dignitas are doing a good job of answering and trying to get back in this game.
Great strength and numbers here onto this bottom turret. This will put them up a good amount of global gold. that they are behind right now. It's about 2K. There is actually Dyrus here to stop this turret from going down. PewDiePie gets hit up. They will not choose to go in, though, even with low mana bars and health.
Ooh, yeah, they're able to get out of this one, though. Still running from Dyrus. The acceleration gate with a little bit longer of a cooldown mean that it's harder for Dyrus to chase this.
Dyrus.
And he can get off less empowered shock blast here. Yeah, I was pausing for the headshot on Patoy, but he didn't even take the shot.
Looks like he will actually just be able to counter roam this turret, just push it by himself, stopping that bottom one from being taken. The Dragon should be coming up soon.
And a note for any Aatrox players out there, for fans of Kiwi Kid, he is maxing that E first. So the E is the Blades of Torment, which is that slow that he shoots out that's in a sort of a triangle. And then he's going with the second, the Q maxing in that one second, the Dark Flight.
Crumbs out of Dyrus. Dyrus doesn't know if he can fight this right away. The red buff is definitely going to be his advantage, but here's the shot, switches forward. Oh, he gets a full shock blast off in the vertical, or the horizontal line rather. Very well played by Dyrus. PewDiePie able to pick up the kill, but it's not a shutdown, so there's a bit of gold in his pocket.
I'm always a fan of standing your ground when you get ganked like that and just fighting it out, just gritting your teeth. Dyrus does not move, he doesn't flinch, and he's able to pick up the kill because he fought with his minions on Crumbs and used the auto attacks there, able to avoid the spell shield from Crumbs and make the best of a bad situation, while the rest of his team tries to take advantage of the focus that was put onto him. Takes top turret.
So TSM now starting to pressure these turrets on. You don't have a huge AoE team coming from Dignitas. What kind of fights are they looking for?
Whenever you do have a Kassadin, especially a Kassadin with teleport, you're looking for Skara to hunt down people and take them out, because Kassadin is an assassin, and he's a very mobile assassin. When you stack up your Whipped Rocks, not only do you gain a lot of distance, but also it stacks damage, and it does a lot if you can actually land that on someone. So they're looking to pick people out when TSM are split pushing, because they know Reggie on TF. Reggie's going to be trying to split push a side lane, and Skara's goal is to find Reggie, hunt him down, and cut off his head.
We'll have to see if Dignitas can do it. It looks like a very high front end burst team off of that initial blast. TSM bringing the DPS to the fight constantly. And we could see a Dragon go kind of sour here for Dignitas if they try to take it. They don't have that damage they would need. Like you said, it's single target. They want to find somebody out, not a full fight. So we see Dignitas Skara taking his time, grabbing blue. They're going to set this up and figure out where TSM is before really figuring out what they want to do.
Well, TSM's probably going to be at that Dragon, and they do have the timer.
Seconds.
So when TSM heads over there, you know, with the Nasus, which is why they're going to focus on this objective, they can burn it down very quickly. And it's going to be Reggie rotating down sort of halfway because of the distance on that TF ultimate. He's going to be trying to get into position here, but it looks like we will see the 1v1, the Skara going versus Reggie in that top lane. Oh, there's a teleport.
Skara teleport to the bottom tri-lane. They may not be able to get the Dragon, but they would. Oh, they go for the Dragon. He does smite it down. Beautiful job by Crumbs as they continue on to the fight. Wild Turtle's in a 1v1 with PewDiePie, and he gets the initial blast and the initial kill from collateral damage. To follow up, they may be able to with the Destiny, but it goes to the bottom lane. They do not find Reginald coming into the fight, and he may get a turret out of this.
That's the reason why I said we're going to see Reggie rotating down, is because he could get there with his Twisted Fate ultimate, but he didn't rotate down. So that's the reason why he would have. Dignitas takes the teamfight at Dragon plus the middle turret here, and Reggie does not get rewarded with a turret of
This
his
is the
own.
long road for them. He chose the Zhonya's impact plays. He's not going to have the Lich Bane turret pushing power yet, so it was a little one-sided for Dignitas there to pull it back. 3,000 gold from that 4,000 gold deficit now for them. It's up to 3, I should say. Now 6-4, 2-4 in turrets though, so they're still lacking a bit of vision on the map. They need to crush down those turrets.
I think that was just a little bit of misplay on Reggie because he forgot maybe that Skara had teleport, and he did not get himself into position to join that team fight, because like you said, he's gone with the Zhonya's Hourglass, so he's building his TF to make team fight plays. He's not building to take down that turret solo, and in a normal situation he would not have actually wanted his team to go for a 4v5 there, and I believe that was some miscommunication on top of the misposition.
So we see Skara picking up that Rod of Ages, has not started to charge yet, but he is 360 deep on that tier. We're also seeing 330 deep in that tier for Dyrus. So both of them stacking about the same rate. As we said, it has been lowered. You're going to see that power increase around 25 minutes probably for both of them. A lot of aggression towards this top turret.
So now Dignitas, after coming off the Dragon Steel, by the way, we have to shout out Crumbs, by the way, for that smite. Great job by him getting that Dragon. They came back and they got a second, or the last perimeter turret here. So they are slowly coming back to within the same gold lead here that TSM had, and TSM really have to make plays to continue this one.
Oh, Kiwi Kid getting found out here. Reginald does have the Zanyas, able to lock that one down. Kiwi Kid's passive going to come up. They're rotating up. X Special is in the middle here. You may be able to stop that. They watch Kiwi Kid go down, try to formulate maybe an exit kill here.
Scar backs all the way off, gives up Kiwi Kid for dead there. He's not going to go down with him. Some interesting rotation here, and we'll have to see if Reggie and Dyrus can just continue to split push this by themselves, because there's 3 members of Dignitas now cornering them inside.
Skara is getting ready to pinch this one in with the team. Crumbs on the backside, throws down the ultimate. They're not going to have a turret to fight with, but Dyrus is the one that's choked up. He's got some kills under his belt. Again, not going to be a shutdown, but they want him first. They want him off the map, and it looks like, oh, Patoy could get him, but he throws up the wild throw. Oh no, they're going to lock down Patoy on this. Dyrus walks away, Ace in the hole comes out. They're going to turn it around to Skara. This was a 3v2, and they're going 1 for 1 so far.
Great job there. Again, Dyrus was almost going to run away there, and he realized it was just Sona. Turns around, starts shooting Patoy, and they trade that one. 1 kill for each here, which leaves Cutie Pie with 2 members in the bottom lane.
Cutie Pie taking some pop shots here at the odd one as he just gives them some harass in the bottom lane. The red buff's going to be taken, but Kiwi Kid's going to walk into this one. Throws down the slow. Cutie Pie, quick draw through the wall. They throw down the ult onto Odd One as he throws his ult down as well. And not get out of that one. Odd One flashing away. They wasted some good summoners there.
Very good flash, and Kiwi Kid does not want to expend his flash to follow them over because he just burned his CC spell. That Dark Flight is the key to locking down one of the champions.
Both backing now, Odd One and Wild Turtle. The Infinity Edge coming in. The Aegis just being finished here before 20 minutes. Some nice core items to have, but a little bit after the average we've seen of those core items of a Bloodthirster or Infinity Edge being finished around 16, 17 minutes. So a slower game for everyone coming into this.
They have been trading a lot though, and there's been
or maybe just their buys, their backs have been slower.
Yeah. Maybe that's the case here. I love the Infinity Edge start by Wild Turtle, by the way. The Caitlyn, that she mostly focuses on the auto attack, so his next item will see actually a big power increase when he does finish that Zeal, adding that extra crit percentage onto his auto attacks.
Wards coming in here as they go to pressure the fight. Crumbs coming in. Scar on the other side, but they see him. The Wards plays previously from the fight, and the Lulu eyes on him from E are able to just keep that pressure going down. They continue to back off, but they may re-engage.
Reggie really wanted to make something happen there because all that early harass that they got on Skara means that he will be a non-factor in the next team fight that happens. But Reggie couldn't make a play.
They try to go in. Reginald throws down the Zanyas. They use collateral damage right over that. Can they get the kill? He gets to Lulu Wall through Wild Growth. Kiwi Kid gets out of this one. Bloodwell is still up for him, I believe, so he should be able to come back. He is still alive, throws the Dark Flight over the wall, and they get out of this one. Crumbs needs some help. The smoke train gets thrown down, and they get out of that one tactically.
Beautiful job by Dignitas right there, taking advantage of the mobile assassin that they have. Skara, even though he was harassed down so low, like I said, doesn't hesitate to get back in there and get off both of his combos to land 2 kills for Dignitas, fighting in the jungle. Really, really detrimental for TSM right there.
And Kobe, as we look at these buys coming in, the money coming in, the Zephyr build coming in after we have the Cutlass on 2 Aatrox.
So that is because the same reason that I always love a lot of crowd control when I fight an Aatrox is the reason that an Aatrox is going to build that tenacity from somewhere. And since he had gone with the Ninja Tabby because he was trying to lane against Jace and reduce auto attack damage, it made him get his tenacity from a Zephyr.
See how he contributes to the fights with this, just kind of being chaotic, always mobile, and they get the odd one, but they didn't know they were getting extra pinched. The ward coverage isn't on that side of the map, and Dignitas is kind of blindly going into these fights. They lose. Scar! Crumbs gets the spell shield out. Scar over the wall with the Rift Walk. Crumbs may have just sacrificed himself for the team valiantly. The last few shots, to the skies, and he throws the hammer down as Dyrus comes up with another kill.
Oh, Crumbs is a hero. He goes in to save Skara. and he will be remembered when they do write down the last entry in the book of Skara.
22-30. The Dragon again going to Team SoloMid here. They've been able to just pretty much lock down that timer. Crumbs with a very good steal on the last one, and they made sure that didn't happen again. They take him out and take the Dragon.
Yeah, regardless of the sacrifice there from Crumbs, that was a poorly laid trap from Dignitas.
No vision.
Yeah, it just happens that the member of TSM that they caught in their trap is the tanky odd one, the Nasus, who's very hard to bring down, and they couldn't burst that champion down, so they paid the price for it right there. And not only did Crumbs die, but Skara actually burned his teleport to get out of there as well because he thought that the rest of TSM were chasing him, but they had actually just switched their priorities and gone for the Dragon. TSM, they're not chasing for kills. They are going for objectives. They are objective focused now.
Very direct and gotta say different at this point from what we've seen from TSM. A lot of their calls have been causing them problems, but right now it seems like they are all on the same page. Not a lot of lips moving, but you can see when we hit Reginald, always talking on that screen.
And Reginald is the one that loves talking and hates being, I don't know, disagreed with.
Right. So, yeah, it says it puts him on tilt almost.
So when you see him doing most of the talking, that's actually really good for TSM. Because if he's getting some points,
any flack,
yeah, exactly. If he's getting any flack from the rest of the team, then he says that it kind of puts him on tilt. It's just the way that TSM sort of operates, for better or for worse. They follow Reggie.
See, it's working out for better right now. They are up 4,000 gold. The fights are starting to go in favor of Dignitas, which those single targets have them up 9-7, but it's about the team fight that TSM wants, and we've seen that go poorly for Dig. So there is the either way it goes for the fight, I guess you could say. If Dig gets the one out, they're better off. As TFM finds a full fight, they have a base in front of them.
I think a lot of it is actually going to hinge on the next Destiny. Actually, there it is from Reggie. He comes in, and they're going to just hard push this middle inhibitor turret because there's two members of Dignitas that were recalling Envision.
That dark flight down. No, they throw in the odd one's ultimate. They're right under the turret. The turret goes down. It's totally engageable here for TSM. Dark flight for Kiwi Kid. He gets polymorphed down. The Bloodwell passive to come up here. May keep himself alive. Collateral damage with a bit. Oh, he tries to get the smoke screen flashed out. Odd one, fast fingers, and he gets himself to safety. Reginald trying to pull out the gold card. They have safety for the engage or disengage, which they will follow through with.
TSM, such a good. We just talked about them following Reggie and being decisive with their calls. They all were in position to shove the mid lane while two members of Dignitas showing their recall animations. This allowed the complete confidence from TSM right there. Even if they were not completely confident about winning a 5-on-5 team fight, they knew they could get that turret down before Dignitas got into position for that fight.
There's no gigantic impact initiation for these guys. It's going to have to be a flash crescendo. They walked around a Kiwi Kid. We're able to focus them out. The team they have is great for the assassination, but they're digging themselves a hole here.
Yeah,
there's the assassination.
Dyrus is in trouble.
Oh my god, he's going to turn it around. Oh, he couldn't see Dyrus either side. He knew he was actually, or rather, Scar on the other side. Knew he was going down to Ignite, so he focused on Cutie. They may be able to do this again. The lack of wards that are coming into this side of the jungle is definitely hurting Dignitas and their engages.
Second time that Dyrus has been able to grab a kill by not running when he gets engaged on. He just stands and he fought it. And he took down Skara, which is a very good consolation prize for TSM.
They had a few on the entry, but past that, it was Dyrus to really give them the welcoming committee and the rest of TSM to follow through. 10-10 at 26 minutes. It's starting to even out, but TSM definitely on the aggression.
Yeah, and what I was going to say before that last jungle fight was in the last base fight at that inhibitor turret for TSM, Crumbs got an amazing dark flight off. He got the 4-man knockup, but the rest of Dignitas was not in position to capitalize on it. So all of TSM's planning and their shot calling is what won them that fight.
The Oracle's out for Patoy, doing exactly what they need to remove the wards out of the jungle, because TSM's taking this to lane fights. Oh, Scar being very, very aggressive there. Oh, Cutie Pie gets caught out. Reginald coming in to make the play and started off with a follow-up damage.
Looks like it's a good day for Reggie TF here. He does get the catch on the most important member of Dignitas, taking out the gigantic burst damage that could come from Graves.
28 minutes in here, 27 and a half. TSM begins to breach that first inhibitor. They take it down and they play the surefire safety. 1 minute on Dragon, but eyes on Baron right now as Dignitas very scared of the big worm on the map. So they're going to be the ones trying to dance it out and make TSM make a mistake.
Yeah, and as we look at how we got to this point, even though it's 10 to 11 in kills, the gold lead is very telling of the change in TSM mentality that I keep returning to, and the focus on objectives. That's where they're getting their gold, and it's because they've actually given up kills. They have decided to not chase members of Dignitas and instead go for the sure gold of grabbing either Dragon or the turret.
You can see both junglers have had the same amount of time to farm here at 120 apiece, but those lanes that had that 30 CS discrepancy, Skara is still behind by about 80, but it's been caught up by Kiwi Kid, who's really the initiation we're seeing. He's finally getting armor, but everything he's building is a piece of a recipe right now. There's no core items from him, and that's hurting.
Yeah, exactly. Dignitas never recovered from the brilliant early lane swap that TSM pulled. Sending Reggie, the TF, to the bottom lane caught so many people off guard because TF, like I said, always likes to be in the mid lane so he can use that destiny to go top or bottom. So most teams, pretty much all teams, assume that TF will go mid. And sending Dyrus over there, they were able to keep Dignitas very low farm for laning phase.
You can see the team very poised. There's a flash crescendo. That's exactly what they wanted. Reginald throws down these Zanyas. Everybody's still trying to go hard, though. They're keeping themselves in a wall of just meat to take the damage. Can they turn it around? Dyrus with the passive coming up. Kiwi Kid still very much alive with that passive. They are able to clean up onto this one, and they had just enough assassination with the crowd control of crescendo.
That was an amazing combo of the flash crescendo into a beautiful dark flight from Kiwi Kid, and Dyrus had snuck in a Guardian Angel there, so even with Dignitas winning that fight, it was even bigger than just taking down 3 members. They also took out that 5-minute cooldown of the revive from Guardian Angel for Dyrus.
And he was rolling through that one with his blood price on pretty hard, and his passive actually went off during that fight in the end. So Dignitas using that window very sparingly to fight with, but had the perfect engagements for themselves here. Doing that one very well. 13 to 12 as they're keeping themselves up in kills. Now putting that vision back on the map. All the wards down to Dragon definitely helped them pick that win up. Yeah,
vision was definitely key in that one, and that allowed Patoy to have the confidence to flash forward and crescendo, because Sona's very, very squishy. So if you're gonna do a flash crescendo, you better be confident that you're going
to take some damage. You're going to rip a stocking for sure.
So it was that coupled with the comments of Kiwi Kid backing it up with his combo there. And by the way, since this is the first time watching Aatrox, if his bars under the life bars are gray, that means that his passive's on cooldown. And if they're red, that means he's going to jump back up. So it's some nice timing in there. It did come off cooldown in time for him to use.
And it looks like he actually goes straight for a Warden's Mail, so he is trying to just mitigate as much as he can right now while still dealing, because he picked up that Blade of the Rune King quite fast. He was sitting on a lot of gold, so we're seeing Dignitas, some of the members here, fight without that money put into their inventories.
And keeping Aatrox from freely auto-attacking is a huge part of fighting that champion. Here we go, Crumbs with the initiate.
On to Dyrus, and no, Reggie's right there, shielded. Oh, but they didn't time the hammer. They didn't get the lockdown, though. He still chases. He has the Dusk on him, so he's got the movement speed from that Nocturne, and it looks like they're going to keep going. No, the turret aggro onto Patoy. They will lock down one more attack. The E coming in from Aatrox. The lockdown from Kiwi Kid. Will they continue? Crumbs in kind of a sticky situation, but he's all right on the other side of Spirit Fire, and it looks like they will make an exit.
3 members of TSM only up, but they do have Dignitas on the run here because of how much damage they took from tanking the turrets, and they're not able to corner anyone.
Oh, Cutie Pie almost getting caught out as he tries to take out a ward. Red buff onto him means these fights just synergizing. It's not a huge thing, but all the little things are in their favor. Your AD carry has the red buff. Kiwi Kid now getting fed after kind of a hard laning phase for himself. He definitely got focused a bit up there, but Aatrox definitely able to come back if you've beaten him down a bit.
And that is the bonus of running Kassadin and Aatrox as your solo laners. They both have those gap closers, so when Crumbs is able to catch out Dyrus like that with the paranoia, they can actually get into position. They're some of the few champions that can actually get back into position. You can see Skara rift walking all the way up from that mid lane, repeated rift walking. He got in lane, to land his slow and his silence. And that's the combo that Dig would love to catch again, is picking people off like that with their very high damage mobile solo laners.
TSM definitely showing strength right now, just waltzing into the jungle, no wards to be placed down. They said, it's our blue. We don't care how many people are here. So showing strength in numbers, 15 to 12 on the scoreboard. They still have a 5,000 gold lead with backing now at the Baron pit.
Oh, the old Baron dance. This one is going to be very dangerous.
Down.
Because this game is very close in power at this point, and the flash crescendo, which is the key to Dignitas' team fight, is actually coming up very soon again. So once they do have that one, they don't have to 100% rely on picking off members of SoloMid. If they can have SoloMid grouped up and land that all-important crescendo, then they can still take them even in team fights.
He picked up more wards, Xpecial heading back and forth in base. He actually made it to the stairs and went all the way back to get another purchase in. And no, I think they just know Dig will not do Baron. They didn't even ward it when they were just there. They're like, Dig does not like the B word. We don't even have to ward it.
Yeah, they're too scared of it being stolen away by some freak accident even. So they're one of the teams that's most scared of starting up that Baron, because they've had so many Barons lose them games.
They do finally get one. They know it has to be considered eventually. Wild Turtle throwing down traps. Maybe that'll help him later. But cooking cupcakes for now isn't going to do much. It's going to be all about the initiation on the fight. It goes right to Reginald. They say pull out a card on this one. Oh, the crescendo sounded great, but it hit no one. Reginald's still alive. Gets the wild growth. They lock down Kiwi Kid. They cannot gap close with him. Aatrox is down along with his passive.
Little bit too extended on that initiation from Dignitas right there, and a great job of TSM not trying to dive the backline of Dignitas, but peeling back and dealing damage as they're kiting, enable them to win that team fight. And that's how you want to play when you have Caitlyn, who's a very safe AD carry and wants to make use of her sniping range.
That was a very unfortunate fight, Kobe. Patoy flash crescendoed for that. Now, risking that Oracle's risking 3 members of their team. Cutie Pie makes the flash. Another one is taken out there.
They
and it looks like
Baron,
they are preshed out. They are doing what they need to at this point, but it is going to be scary. Once again, back in, hitting up onto Wild Turtle. Reginald coming up, pulling out that one card. Doing a little bit of damage, trying to get the slow, and he wanted everybody to give up.
So close, just a little bit off there.
Doing what they
got. The red one instead of the gold one, but Baron is a pretty good prize anyway. They're able to scare off Dignitas, and the delaying tactics there, ultimately futile.
We're gonna get Reginald and Double Lift to hang out so we can teach him the double lift.
Ah,
And then he'll always get the right card.
There we go. He'll be cheating from now on.
15 to 14. It would not look like it, or it doesn't seem like these guys have been neck and neck in kills back and forth. TSM showing an 8,000 gold lead, and that sticks. It's 8,300 actually. So they'll be looking very nice on that. 6 to 3 in turrets. So the vision for Dignitas, less and less in their lanes. Going to need to rely on wards even more now.
Well, wards won't actually help them when there's an open inhibitor. So TSM have a very clear path of where they're going, and they'll probably just run in full vision straight down the lane, because they know that Dignitas will have to do something at this inhibitor. Either TSM are going to come away with free super minions coming down the lane, or they're going to get a fight 5 vs 5 with Baron on their side.
Looks like the team fight phase, the area of effect damage of being able to just follow up constantly. Shock Blast, Spirit Fire is too much for the single target damage of this Dignitas team right now. Looking at the inhibitor, they start to get some poke on, but Dig, you can just see the reluctance of wanting to engage.
Because they don't have a flash crescendo this time. It's going to be a walking or a floating crescendo from Patoy.
Good damage there.
And that is really key to their team fight. They want to be able to lock up both Dyrus and Wild Turtle with the same crescendo. So TSM have to be careful and space out their 2 auto attackers there, which they're doing a very good job of.
And you can see how hard it is just to initiate a fight with a lack of hard crowd control. With all the soft crowd control, as you would call it, it's back and forth pokes, and it's almost can we initiates, which may get you into trouble.
So TSM do get choice B there with the inhibitor. They don't get the team fight, but they do get the inhibitor down, so Super Minions will be knocking down the front door. And since they have Twisted Fate, they're going to be able to shove multiple lanes if they choose to put Reggie in that position.
This is going to be a very big cutie pie soon. He is actually not going for a defensive item. He's going for Infinity Edge next, which he's actually sitting on about 98 gold. So he's kind of far off.
Yeah, it's going to take a while to finish that one up.
He's alone.
He's actually opted for upgrading Home Guards, which delays
That's
it a
true.
little bit, but it's a very strong buy because anytime your inhibitors have been breached, your first line of turrets there, you pretty much need to have your Home Guards so you can get back out and try to make the comeback. I like the buy, even though it will delay those giant crits a little bit longer.
Coming up onto 38 minutes, teams fighting with wards on the front steps. Kids, don't play with your food. Get to it. 15 to 14, just positioning back and forth as they jockey for this one. The traps are going to go down, and this is going to make it even harder for them to want to step into initiate, which they've been having trouble doing already, because you're going to get locked up.
And that's the reason why they don't have Reggie split pushing. They're just, TSM are playing it safe. They know that it's so dangerous for Dignitas to go all in and engage them, that if they just keep all 5 of their members here, they can sit on this Baron buff regen and continually poke down Dignitas.
And now the Kiwi Kid's quite leveled up. I lied. That siege clear from his E is actually quite nice. They're able to wipe down these waves and really not getting any turret damage.
Yeah, so what we have to look for are the Lichbane hits from Reggie onto the turret. Because even just getting one of those off every few seconds takes a huge amount of damage on the turret.
I like the pyramid trap placement coming out from Wild Turtle. Crumb's trying to eat as many cupcakes as he can. He's going to be sick after this match. The gold lead, 9,000 in favor of TSM right now as they want to try to pressure this last turret. Kiwi Kid is so much in the fight. He tries to get his flight out of the fight, but he may go down in the process. Odd1 throws down the ulti. They're getting a bit of wasted here, but Cutie Pie looks like he gets dropped.
And Reggie's dancing in the middle there. He doesn't even have to use his Zanyas. Doesn't get low enough for it.
Opa style as he goes in, gets a kill, gets himself out. 9 turrets are down now. 11 stand on Summoner's Rift for your team. TSM looking to take out those last 2 Nexus turrets.
So as TSM are backing off here, let's go over why Dignitas didn't make the stand at that last inhibitor turret there.
Absolutely.
Kiwi Kid, you can see, wanted to go in. But because Sona did not have, wasn't in position, she was coming from the fountain, they made the call, oh, you have to back out right now. And Kiwi Kid took so much damage because he thought they were going to fight for that turret and then trying to disengage, that they had completely lost their fighting formation there, and they just crumbled and had to give up everything inside their base.
You know, and this game comes down to the fact, again, of kind of a tendency in tricking your teammates, right? Cloud9 runs the Zyra Ashe composition all the time. Everybody says, let TF run Reggie. You know what? TF's been practicing Reggie, and he's showing it in this game. His plays are a lot more. There may have been a few red cards in there, but the impact of the early Zanyas has played a huge role for them this game.
Oh yeah, Reggie is not one to be scared off playing a champion just because he gets some criticism. Reggie is used to criticism from the community. He does not care, and he will continue to play what he thinks is strong and what will make his team win.
Seeing them pushing down mid right now as they go towards the top lane. They don't want to be pushing that already pushed lane. You can find yourself doing that sometimes in solo queue and you say, why aren't we going anywhere? It's because the lane's pushed. Go push something else. That's on TSM's agenda right now. The top lane is the next one to check off the list. They only have the inhibitor right there. That's the last one to go around the horn, Kobe, and these waves are about to flood in the base.
And we're even coming in here with a Starks on Wild Turtle, or a Zeke's now.
Yeah.
For the old fogies there, I'll shout out the Starks. But it's now called Zeke's, and that gives the lifesteal aura and damage aura, so it actually benefits Dyrus a lot. Wild Turtle showing that he, even as the AD carry, is a team player too.
Again, they set up. Let's look at Patoy's positioning on this one. His flash is up. The crescendo is up. We'll have to see if he can get this flash in. That's going to be a 3rd one down. The Nexus turrets are taking a beating right now. It's all or nothing. They decide to go in. Patoy comes in. He walks that one out. The crescendo hits, but the wild growth kind of popped everyone out of that range. Scar going down to the backside. They're trying to lead them a bit out of the base, but it's looking grim, Kobe, as one Nexus turret goes down with the team.
And this one is going to be the story here as TSM have full reign over Dignitas' base. Wild Turtle had a great flash to get just out of the range of that crescendo.
A great game played, a lot of adapting happening, and we can see, like you said, Kobe, what happens when you're the first one to switch a lane. If you can continue that adaptation, it plays in your favor greatly.
Exactly. TSM got off to a great start by an amazing lane swap. And I probably have to give props to Reggie right there. They used the TF pick, even though the early Destinies didn't make ganks for them.
Right.
Having the TF pick fake Dignitas into thinking that the mid laner was going up against Twisted Fate and going up against magic damage really, really benefited them for the early CS lead that they were able to achieve.
I think we saw what Dignitas was trying to achieve here. They had, Aatrox was going,